Hey, what's up everyone? This is Silver Slayer. Thank you for tuning into this video. Silver has been $50 twice in the last 35-40 years, which means that its time is coming soon, especially given the circumstances, looking at the historical patterns, silver is ready to explode. I'm not trying to be a silver pumper. I'm not going to mislead my audience. I'm going to give you my realistic perspective on this possibility. And I use the word possibility very strongly because it's definitely just waiting to happen. Looking at the past, if we go back in history, we could see the patterns. And if we comply those to what's happening into the economy, the chart analytical standpoint from what's happening in the economy, we can start to see what's going on underneath the surface. Now, this is boiling down to silver starting to rally. What happened when silver was $50 in 1980s and in 2011? Recession looming, geopolitical fear, economic growth rates slowing down, and stock market volatility, high stock market volatility. Same exact things are happening right now. Recession's looming. We are on the brink of a recession. Stock market volatility setting record-breaking highs, then crashing from coronavirus and several other things. Geopolitical fear, Iran tensions, U.S.-China trade war. Everything under the sun points to higher prices. Now, when? That is the question. That's the whole point of this video, because it is coming, but people are asking when. It's obvious that silver can explode. I mean, twice in the last 30 years. Once in the last 10 years, okay, but when? How patient do you have to be? That's the gist of this video. A lot of people aren't very patient. Silver's a very slow-moving market. They're not patient enough. They're about to throw in the towel. This leads to panic selling, impulse buying, and making irrational decisions. And if you can, in return, learn how to take a step back, analyze the markets, recognize the patterns, and apply those patterns to the markets, then you are on the brink of becoming a successful investor. Now, the same thing with any other investment. Let's go with real estate. If you are going to be investing into real estate, and let's say you're trying to buy property, what are you going to do first? You're going to look at the future potential of the neighborhood, right? Or the city. Are they building schools, or are they tearing schools down? Are they building malls, shopping centers, or are they tearing them down? This is how you tell if a city or if a neighborhood is going to be blossoming or becoming downgraded. And the same thing applies to silver. Where is silver headed? Well, let's see. Silver being the most highly conductive metal for thermal conductivity and electricity. Okay, we got that. Well, the digital era we're advancing into, we need technology for so many things. Silver, technology is basically everything, especially cashless nations appearing. And silver is used for all of this stuff. Everything that's digital, that's used in technology, silver has a major part in. Those appliances, all that stuff would not work without silver, right? Let's look at the EVs, electric vehicles. In 30, 40, 50 years, every single car is going to be an EV. Silver is going to be widely and highly used in that. Why do you think industrial demand is already paying premiums for bullion, for silver bullion? Because there's a shortage coming, which can go into my next point. $50 silver is even more relevant than when it did happen in 2011. And I'm going to explain this because in 2011 it did hit $50, but for not very long, right? It exploded, but it crashed even faster. And that's because there was no stability, there was no support building it up like there is now. Now we're starting to get the ball rolling onto something, right? Stock markets are setting record highs, silver's not crashing, coronavirus could be affecting prices and tried to, but it still held its ground and it's still rallying right now. Its prices are still going up. So I definitely think that if silver is going to be rising, and if it does hit this $50 range, what's going to entail it to stay? What's going to make it stay at this $50 range? That's what we really need to look at. And I definitely think the 2020 presidential election is going to be kicking it off. That's going to be the fundamental, that's going to be the spark that ignites everything. And then it's going to be led by the dollar's collapse. People are starting to realize the dollar is not what it seems to be. It's a lack of faith, and that's what the faith is all the dollar has, right? Back when our Constitution of silver was actually backed by something that held its value, that was a different ball game. That was a different point. Our money was actually backed by something. When I went to the store and gave my store clerk a 50-cent walking liberty, I was giving them 50 cents of value for something that I, in return, wanted that was, in my opinion, worth 50 cents. But because there's 50 cents of silver inside of that walking liberty. But nowadays, when I give them 50 cents or give them a dollar bill, the money isn't backed by anything. It's not backed by anything. There's no value there. In return, building inflation and building debt. It's like trying to pay off a credit card with another credit card with another credit card. We're trying to just get ourselves out of debt by replacing it with more debt, and we're digging ourselves deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper hole. Hence why we're $24 trillion in debt right now. Geopolitical or economic growth rates slowing down. U.S.-China trade wars pushing everything back, setting everything back, backdating. We have silver, which is it's hard to find on the ground. I just made a video the other day talking about how silver is actually more rare than gold is, which is actually true. See, under the ground, silver's more. There's more silver than gold, but above ground, it's not. It's not the same. You know why? Because a lot of gold is recycled. Because gold's used for jewelry, used for coinage. People return or scrap their gold or recycle it or reuse it or resell it because gold's profitable to do that, but silver isn't. So a lot of gold is being reused, recycled, but a lot of silver is actually being lost. See, lost in technology. See what I was talking about earlier in this video. Silver is used for all this stuff, all this technology, all these things from dental alloys, solar panels, space equipment, to cell phones, to laptops, to everything. It's used in medical wall paint. It purifies water. There's colloidal silver. There's silver nanoparticles. Scientists discovered how to make silver 40% stronger without losing any electrical conductivity, which is going to bring a whole new spectrum of uses for it. See, but it's lost in all this stuff. People aren't recycling, aren't re-scrapping the silver out of this stuff. Right? They're not going to the pawn shop and scrapping their dental alloys. Right? The thing is silver is actually slowing down, especially since the top producers of silver, Mexico, Peru, Chile, Australia, China, they're abandoning silver mines. They're abandoning them. So what is going to happen when the silver supply cannot meet the demand? Shoots the price up. So not only do we have a metal that's extremely undervalued, especially looking at the gold to silver ratio, widely used, especially in the digital era we're going into, with the dollar being destroyed, but we have this ticking time bomb, and people are not ready. If people were ready, if people saw this as a realistic investment with real potential, silver would not be sitting at $17.85 right now, I'll tell you that much. But it is, and that's because people aren't placing their bets on silver. They would rather go with gold. The gold to silver ratio is still 88-1 and actually might be going higher. Why would gold be a relevant or be a rational decision when the gold to silver ratio is so high? Gold is overvalued and silver is undervalued. It's as simple as that. People don't see it that way though, because gold is the almighty metal. Gold is the royal metal. Gold can be beneficial. You know, it's a great way to store a large amount of wealth in a small area. You can fit $100,000 of gold in a shoebox. Can't do that with silver. But besides that, silver basically has the one-up on gold on every other side. Silver is even more volatile than gold, meaning it's more profitable. Silver hits higher highs and lower lows. When it's higher highs, you can profit, sell some of your silver. When it's lower lows, you can buy it for cheaper. It's a win-win-win-win-win. And until people start realizing this, they're going to be in the negative. See, silver is about turning your financial situation into freedom. Financial freedom is the end result. Financial freedom, and silver can offer that. Not only will the coins keep their value and the spot price will stay the same in 50 years opposed to keeping it in the savings account for 50 years, but the coins themselves will appreciate and double, quadruple, especially if there's some high premium stuff. So it's a win-win-win-win-win. And $50 silver is going to be within the next 5, 6, 7 years. See, not only did it happen 10 years ago, but it also happened 20 years ago before that, in the 80s and in 2011. So the thing is that right now, times are much more dire than back then. So if it does hit $50 like it did back then, it would actually stay. It would actually stick this time. It has to be a gradually approaching, a gradually moving, momentum shifting upwards. But there has to be corrections, there has to be sell-offs, there has to be dips. That's with any market. That's bound to happen, but it doesn't have to happen to the extent that it did where it crashed. It can actually stay at these prices. If the gold to silver ratio is 16-1, that puts silver at $90. That's realistic. That's absolutely realistic. If gold's at this 1500 natural price range, that's all I gotta say. I'm curious what you guys think about this. Do you think silver's $50 silver is reasonable, or do you think that's out of the ballpark? Is that out of the realm of impossibility? I definitely think it is. People forget that it just was in 2011, not even 10 years ago. Not even 10 years ago it was. So I beg to differ. That I really would like to hear someone say that there's not that it doesn't have that the silver doesn't have potential. That's ridiculous to me because it's a ticking time bomb ready to explode, whether you like it or not. Anyways, I'm gonna wrap this video up here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe if you're new because I do post daily videos. Thanks for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I'm out. Peace.